Hi, everyone. I hope God's been blessing you today. Today is February 10th, 2023. And today I wanted to go over the story about David and Goliath in the um, Bible. I believe it's First Samuel chapter 17. And I was reading this and studying it, and I got a revelation of how the Jehovah Witness organization kind of can fit into this story. I'm not saying that, everyone should think the way that I think about this, but I just wanted to share what I was thinking about and ask, if anyone wants to comment, if you agree or you see some similarities as well, or if you see the organization as a different story in the Bible. I just feel like it's definitely a giant, like how Goliath is a giant. And I was thinking about the Philistines could be portrayed as the witnesses, the ones that are, scared of everything, and they're they're listening to Goliath. Oh, Goliath's gonna, do all of our Goliath is the one that's gonna do all of the battling. Goliath is gonna be the one that battles for us, which if you put Goliath as the WatchTower organization itself, like the society, all of the publishing that they do, the witnesses actually use that against people. Like they'll use the publications to try to fight their battles for them and not ever get into a conversation where they might actually have to think about what the other person is bringing to the table. I always notice that they seem to not ever want to debate with anyone. They are stuck in their ways. They're kind of closed-minded when it comes to any other person's thought process and maybe what they believe. And I don't understand that, because if God wants us to help the people that don't have a relationship with him, well, how would we really know who these people are if we're not willing to have conversations with anyone other than people that are in the organization? So the other thing I was thinking about is King Saul, in this whole story, could be in relation to the governing body members, because the governing body, to me, they want to be in charge, like a king. They want to be at the very top. They want everyone pretty much to listen to them. And that's usually what the kings do, when they're ruling over everyone. And then I was thinking David would actually be like what they would consider the apostates, because if you read the whole story about David and Goliath, like the Philistines and even Goliath, they all thought David, even King Saul, thought that David was too weak, too small, would never be able to do it. Oh, he's not a warrior. He's just a shepherd. He just takes care of sheep. So how could he even possibly, go and help us? And I feel like that's what the witnesses do. They don't want to listen to the people that have left the organization, what they would call the apostates, because they might actually learn something, from us. They might they don't even have they think in their mind there's not even a possibility that someone that's left the organization could actually be listening and following what God wants in the Bible. They think they're the only ones that do that. They're the only ones that are going to be saved. I was just talking to my husband today about, I feel like most of the witnesses can't wait for the wicked people to die. Like, like the more I listen to older broadcasts and stuff of the brothers are talking, and even thinking back to some of the Sunday meetings, it seemed like people were just so happy to be like, oh, we're almost at the end where, you know, Jehovah's going to come down, he's going to kill all these people, and then we won't have to worry about it anymore. And I'm just like, what are you talking about? Why do you want people to die? Why would you want anybody to die? I don't want anyone to die. What I read out of the Bible is Jesus is going to get rid of the wickedness, not the wicked people, the wickedness of the people. So he's going to remove all thoughts of wickedness. The watchtower itself, right, being in replace of Goliath, and the watchtower publications are really doing all the work, which would be like the fighting against David, which would, if you thought of them as the apostates, you know, and they're using the witnesses, who are the Philistines, to try to fight all the battles. And then you've got, you know, David, all he wants, like us apostates, we just want people to know God. We just want the witnesses to wake up because they're being misled. And why? Because we figured it out, because God helped us figure it out that we were being misled. Now you guys can't listen to us. We're just trying to help you. What happened to when you were thinking you were trying to help me? What, like, I think about, you know, my Bible teacher, like, she was trying to help me the whole time. That's what she thinks. She was trying to help me. Okay, at the beginning, she was helping me. But when I started to study the Bible on my own and do more of the personal studying than I was the congregational studying, I started to be like, hey, wait a minute. Some of this stuff I could just get God's help from, like, and just read the Bible and understand. I don't really need to go by what the publications are saying, because some of the stuff that I'm understanding isn't the same. The witnesses, you know, they think that we're weak. The ones that left, they think that we no longer have God's approval. They think we turned our backs against God. I didn't. I have never left. I actually think my relationship with God is closer now than it was. I feel like there's so many things that the witnesses are missing, the ones that are closed-minded. Just being able to talk to anyone from any background, talking about anything that they want to, you can still learn. It doesn't mean that like, obviously no one wants to sit and talk to someone that's constantly negative, but sometimes the person that's negative doesn't realize they're being so negative. They need someone that's positive in their life to show them the contrast. If you are always around someone that's negative and you never see anyone positive, well, of course you're going to be negative all the time. I think about my past when I was growing up. My mom wasn't always negative, but the older I got, she was negative, and I didn't want to be around her. Growing up, I went towards more people that were positive. You know, I didn't really have the boldness that David had. I didn't have the relationship. There wasn't things, which is funny because how David was so confident that he was going to be able to win against this Philistine, because he knew that it wasn't his strength that he won against the bear and the lion. He knew God helped him during those times. That's the part I missed. There was times that I can look back now that I was like, wow, God was totally with me right there. But at that time, I didn't really think about that. And so I thought I was either doing it with my own strength, or I thought it was just accidental that things were going my way. I never really thought, oh, could God be helping me? But now that I look back, I'm like, wow, I was a David. Like, I did have confidence. I didn't know it was, I wish I knew it was coming from God at the time, like David did. But I'm know now, because now I have seen God help me understand things. He has helped me with my relationships. He's helped me with loving myself. He's helped me understand that I deserve, if I deserved, I need to be able to give to other people what I want. And that took me a long time, you know, uh, it took me a long time to figure that out. A couple years ago, I would have thought to myself, wow, I'm so stupid that it took me so long. But to be perfectly honest, I think I'm exactly where I need to be at this very moment. And I'm very happy that I know I'm letting God give me information to help me better myself. And if I can better myself, then I can help people that have been through or are going through the same kind of thing that I've gone through. So if I can help one person to start to ask the right questions at a meeting or out with another witness or whatever, just ask questions. Ask, what about all the rhetorical questions that they teach us? Oh, ask people rhetorical questions. It gives them something to think about. Do that when you're with someone. Do it when you're with a brother or sister. Ask them a rhetorical question, something you don't need them to answer, but something you have scriptures to prove that the organization is teaching it the wrong way, or they're misleading people, or maybe they're leaving out some truths or stuff. Because I was just thinking about just today, I was looking at the daily text, and the daily text today was about what? How Jehovah is good to all, and his mercy, right, is evident in all his works. Okay, I was thinking about that, but then they start talking about the prodigal son, which I think is like, that's a great thing to talk about, the prodigal son. But in their daily text, they're talking about just the people that left the organization. We have to help them come back to, Jehovah. What about all the people that don't know God at all, that have no relationship? They don't even, they think that God is the one causing all of the badness. What about those people? God wants to have them come home just as much as he wants, people that walked away from him in the past, just like this prodigal son did. He wants to help everyone. He doesn't want people to wish other people harm. When you think about the wicked and how the wickedness is going to be gone, right? And then I thought, okay, is this why God wants us to not really worry about what we see in the world, what's going on in our day? Because I was thinking about it today. I know what's going on because I hear things, sometimes you hear the news, or you hear, what people, oh, okay, this person killed that person, or this person's going to jail for this or whatever. I don't get, I feel bad when I hear it, but then I try to give uh my sadness to God, because I know that God's going to give me the peace I need. King Saul, at the end, after David, beats Goliath and brings the head of Goliath, back to king. And then he's like, with him for a while, he's becoming a good warrior and everything. he gets jealous of him. He gets jealous of him. And I was thinking, they don't believe we can be learning anything about God without them, without the Watchtower, without the organization to teach us. They think we are lost. Well, if we're lost in their mind, this is where I don't understand. If you think I'm lost and I've lost my relationship with Jehovah, wouldn't that then put me in the prodigal son situation? And if it does, in your mind, aren't you supposed to be helping get the prodigal son back? So wouldn't you want to talk to me if I'm an apostate? If I've been disfellowshipped, if you've kicked me out and you're shunning me, why would you not want to talk to me? Because how are you going to try to get me to come back to God if you don't even talk to me, like, at all? Like, I've seen so many people just walk right past me. Many people so far that I've been out and about and seen some of the brothers and sisters from my congregation walk right past me, drive past me. When they drive past and they know it's us, they look down. Like, really? Like, what is that doing? I feel bad when you guys do that. It doesn't make any sense to me. I would be happy to talk to any of you. It had nothing, me leaving had nothing to do with any of the people in the hall. It was just the fact that I realized through God's help that I was being misled, and I didn't need, like everyone else, we don't need anyone other than Jesus to help us have a relationship with God. That's all we need. That was the whole point of Jesus coming down here and sacrificing his life for all of us. He literally became our link to get to be able to talk to God on a daily basis. I can literally talk to God all day long. And it's funny because you could be in the organization and they can tell you, oh, well, God's not listening to your prayers. How do you know if God is listening to my prayers? That is a question that I would love to ask one of the witnesses. If they would talk to me, I would ask that specific question. How do you know that Jehovah isn't listening to my prayers now, that I'm not in the organization? Who told you that he wasn't listening? And how does that person know? Is that person Jesus? Is that person Jehovah? Because if it isn't, then how in the world do you know? Because the only people that can read minds, according to the organization, is Jesus and Jehovah. So I don't understand how boldly I was told that I was not going to have first of all, I can't have a relationship with Jehovah without them. And he wasn't going to listen to any of my prayers. And that was told to me by one of the elders, which I just don't understand. Anyway, I don't want to make this video too long. I just am curious if there's any particular story in the Bible that you think relates to like what's going on in the world today, whether it's from the organization standpoint or just from the world today. Could be from your job or the way that people are treating you. I was thinking about the 3 Hebrew boys that were thrown in the fire because they didn't want to bow down to the king Nebuchadnezzar. They didn't want to bow down to the statue that he made. And I was thinking to myself, wow, that could be in relation to something today where some people went to, the politicians back then and got them to write laws to get those Hebrew boys in trouble. And they used it against them. And I think, wow, that's kind of going on today. If you think about it, there's people in the world that want other people to believe what they believe. no matter what. Like I need to believe everything that other people believe. I don't need to believe it. I'm not asking them to believe everything I believe. But there are people that have gone to legislation and gotten laws, passed, which kind of reminds me of that story. Just, just putting some stuff out there to think about. I hope you all have a blessed day, and I'll see you on the next video.